What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Rev Sports Wrap It Up. I am Josh Maber alongside the lovely soul and my boy Tushka. How are we doing today?
Doing good.
It's
good, man. Gang, we in the streets.
I know. They in the streets out here trading, signing, all that is what they're doing. And not just in football, but also in hockey. A big monumental thing that went down in the hockey world. And we'll get to that a little bit later. But let's get right into it. We got a lot to cover today. And we're going to start off with Huck It, Chuck It, Football. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is March. Who gives a shit? We're going to talk football.
Yeah, no, it's definitely March, and it's also a free agency week. You know, they lifted the window for tampering, which we know happens. I mean, everybody's been talking. So, but yeah, man, I mean, it's absolutely incredible the amount of transactions we've seen just in the last week. Sunday was dizzying, Monday was dizzying, Tuesday, it just didn't slow down. So top ones that we're going to really hit on, Cardinals signing Josh Sweat to a 4-year, $76.4 million deal as an ex-Eagles defensive end reunites with Jonathan Gannon, offensive coordinator who's the coach there now. His deal comes with a reported $41 million guaranteed. Josh, what are your initial thoughts on Sweat's deal?
This happens a lot when you win a Super Bowl. Is unfortunately you can't retain all your players. We saw it with them trading away C.J. Gardner-Johnson, letting Darius Slay go, but they still got Cooper DeJean. They still got Blankenship, so they still got all the exciting whites. That's what they called themselves, not me. Yeah. I didn't label.
I was gonna say, as Tishka said, we got a white back.
My corner.
White
backs.
He's charging the world by storm. But yeah, that's typically what happens. I still expect Howie Roseman. I don't think it's Howie. Is Howie Roseman, right? Is that the last name?
Rosenthal, right?
Rosenthal. Yeah, it's not Howie Roseman. Anyway, Howie, I know is that. The GM for the Eagles has putting master classes on about how to run an organization as far as players. Trading players, signing players, draft, all that. Well, obviously, he just was like, yeah, just going to draft Georgia players and call it a day. And then we're going to win a Super Bowl. And that's what they did. But this is one unfortunately what happens. Howie Roseman. Thank you. So I was right. Okay. But, yeah, that's just what happens. Josh Sweat, I think it was a good signing. Congratulations to him. Because a lot of times guys are like, all right, I got my ring. Now I'm going to make money. It's kind of what happens in a lot of people's careers. Now, granted, Darius Slay and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they were like, thank you for helping us win the Super Bowl. Now get the F out because we need to clear up some cap space.
Yeah, no, and they definitely did. Like you said, I mean, whether it's even a Super Bowl, team or even just someone going deep in the playoffs, it's just hard to keep everybody with the contracts overlapping year-wise. That's why you want to try payment in the off time because there's some teams probably wishing they would have re-signed people. Probably looking at you 49ers, looking at you Cincinnati Bengals for sure before a lot of these markets get reset, which they're doing now. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about Garner of it all. That's an incredible pickup that they got. But then also, you were talking about Darius Slayton. Or no, Darius Slay, sorry. Darius Slayton's a whole nother deal we'll get to here soon. But we do got to move on to Ravens, right? There we go. It's all about family there with the Ravens, and they signed DeAndre Hopkins from the Chiefs, really from free agency, but they agreed to a one-year deal. I feel like with DeAndre Hopkins, he's in the twilight of his career for sure. So he's probably just going to be a journeyman, doing one-year deals, trying to go to the highest bidder, and honestly, probably those who are actually in contention for any playoff hope or a Super Bowl maybe appearance. And Ravens are definitely that. Are the Ravens just locked in as the AFC champs?
No. They have to win the damn thing first that people get on Lamar about. So I'll believe it when I see it. They should. I mean, speaking about tampering, they're filing some suits because of all the tampering that went on with Ronnie Stanley when they re-signed there. So that's a whole different thing that we'll cover in later episodes as that story unfolds. but that was kind of the scuttlebutt there. But yeah, DeAndre Hopkins.
Scuttlebutt.
Yep, scuttlebutt. DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, I mean he's in the twilight of his career, but he could be one of two things. It could be a Julio Jones on the Titans, which was there for like 2 plays, or he could be like Randy Moss on the Patriots, which off. And I think with that organization, that scheme, quarterback, everything like that, I don't see how DeAndre Hopkins won't be useful for them.
Yeah. Hopefully he's a better of use of them in the playoffs than he was for the Chiefs. Dropping some key passes, though they were tough passes. Dropping some balls there in the Super Bowl didn't help out, bud. Didn't help out. But not speaking of the Super Bowl. But they win their Super Bowl every year when they beat the Chiefs. The Bills re-signed Josh Allen for a record-breaking contract that includes $250 million guaranteed. Let us know if you're in the chats there, Justin, because your boy just made his bag.
Congratulations, Haley Steinfeld. You do not have to act anymore.
I think our Josh needs to change his last name to Sweat or Allen or something else so he can make that bag. Because Mabry, I guess, is not making that bag right now.
Damn, just like going after my family lineage? Like, is that where we're at right now? Damn. Yeah, I could have the same name. I just don't have the same athletic prowess that those two have. So, but shout out to the Joshes.
Yeah, now the Josh is getting it done. I don't know this. I mean, he definitely deserves it as far as Allen. We'll see how they are able to manage their cap situation each and every year whenever that escalates and gets bigger. That's the issue the Chiefs are running into right now with Mahomes' contract. I think is hitting.
That's
for like
why the
40
guaranteed
million
money is so good because it doesn't hit your cap as much as the 330. Same thing, and they'll restructure the deal just like they'll probably restructure
every
Patrick
year.
Mahomes.
Yep.
Though they've already restructured Dak Prescott like 7 times. So you see that because they have to. And I mean, Joe Burrow has come out and said, "Hey, I'll restructure. I don't care. I want to keep T and Jamar." They've already franchise tagged T for the 2nd year in a row, so they can't be traded. But I know T Higgins camp's not happy about it. And then they decided, and they're like, "Okay, we need defense. All right, well, fuck the defense. We're just going to let everybody go." So, one of the Bengals.
Yep. Well, they pretty much do that there, but Bills also had an additional $12.6 million to spend, which is what they gave a 1-year contract to Joey Bosa, a.k.a. Joey Broken Bosa, because he has not been able to finish a full season the last 2 years there with the Chargers. I mean, is he going to make a big difference there with the Bills' defense?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely worth the signing. But it's just how he was underwhelming for the Chargers. He was good, but he wasn't the impact that we thought he was going to be, like his brother was is in San Francisco. But again, he just can't stay healthy. So I understand why they cut him, because there's no reason to keep that cap hit, because they re-signed Khalil Mack.
Yep.
And they didn't re-sign Joey, but I'm like, I kind of understand it. Like, Joey's been underwhelming for what they signed him for his original extension. So they just had to move away. They had to move on from that. And Harbaugh does those type of moves anyway. Like, I mean, when he got there, they're like, "Oh, remember our receiving core? Yeah, y'all are gone." And they just let Josh Palmer go too. So doesn't matter. They win.
Yeah, no, they did. They did a good job getting in playoffs last year. We'll definitely see what the Chargers cook up this year. You're talking about an adequate contract with $12.6 million for Joey Bosa. Some people are scratching their head about this one. J.C. Horn of the Panthers, cornerback, getting $108 million with this 4-year extension that he gets. That does make him the highest paid defensive back. Is it worth it? I mean, are the Panthers making bad decisions like the Browns? Or is this actually something that they really needed to get done now?
It's the Panthers. Their tickets are going to be 56 cents again.
Yeah.
It's a true story. They were so bad 2 years ago that their ticket prices were going for 56 cents.
I wonder how Jason feels right now about his team. Let us know if you're in the chat, Jason.
Jason feels worse than I do, and I'm a Cowboys fan who we'll get to that here in a second.
Yeah. And speaking of bad decisions, the Browns makes an agreement with Myles Garrett, who just 2 weeks ago, said, "I'm out. I'm done. Trade me." But apparently, everybody does have a price, and his price actually got him to be, I think, the highest paid non-QB in league history, getting a deal that averages $40 million a year, with 122.8 million guaranteed, and that's all within 4 years. Absolutely insane. Does that further mortgage the Browns' future to where they will never be relevant this decade?
No, it's Miles Garrett. No, it just that's a once in a generational talent that comes around every once in a while, and you need a cornerstone or something. Because if you trade away Miles Garrett, you better have gotten Herschel Walker trade cap for that. If you don't know what the Herschel Walker trade I'm talking about, this recent Dallas Cowboys were good in the '90s because they traded away Herschel Walker for everything. They traded Herschel Walker to the Vikings. The Vikings gave Dallas basically 3 Super Bowls in 4 years for the amount of draft picks that they made off of that. And I just don't think any team is out there willing to deal that. But for people with history lesson, when you have these type of players like Miles Garrett and these people like, I want to trade, I don't want money, I want rings. Lamar Jackson was asking for a trade, and then they came to a deal. Miles Garrett, I want rings. How about $130 million? Okay, I'm listening. Like, money talks sometimes, and they realized that they weren't budging and Miles wasn't budging, so they compromised and gave him everything. Except
everyone has a price.
Yeah, everyone has a price.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a dumb move because he could have gotten that price maybe elsewhere.
Yeah, and I have this weird inkling that they're going to end up trading him in 2 years anyway. When he hits that twilight where they realize he's on his downswing.
Yeah, you might be right. Book it. Timestamp this. Let's see what happens.
Does Josh know ball?
Does Josh know football?
Yeah, it's on my tombstone, guys. Look back to that past episodes. I already said it.
But the Texans going on down south of Houston. They acquire Christian Kirk in a trade with the Jaguars, sending a 2026 7th round pick for the veteran Kirk, who was rumored to be a cap casualty, but is instead heading to an AFC South rival. I mean, a 7th round pick doesn't sound too bad for Christian Kirk.
Problem is, I don't think he's going to have time to get open because C.J. Stroud's going to be sacked because they just lost their best lineman, and their line sucked last year. Yeah. So, I mean, they need a replacement. They might as well just trade for a 7th round pick because you're not going to find a 7th round pick good enough to replace Tank Dell. So might as well just get a proven commodity and Christian Kirk. I just don't know how much that contract has moved over because that's the reason the Jaguars were releasing him, and then they ended up getting a trade. But they were going to do one of the things. They weren't going to keep him. I know that.
Yeah, no, they definitely weren't. And but what they were going to do was keep their quarterback, which is not the case for quite a bit of people. Had a bit of a quarterback carousel, which we're just going to run through real quick. Daniel Jones gets a deal done with the Colts. Let's see, Geno Smith gets traded from the Seahawks to the Raiders for a 2025 third round pick. Reuniting him with Pete Carroll down there in Las Vegas. And then that doesn't stop because the Jets sign Justin Fields, former Steelers quarterback, to a 2-year, $40 million with $30 million guaranteed. That's a former Chicago Bears quarterback as well. He did a good showing the first few games there with the Steelers. A little bit of controversy as far as the quarterback selection. But that ended up actually working out decently for the Steelers, getting them to the playoffs. Sam Darnold, who was the darling of last year, coming in after an injury there with the Vikings, is actually going to be signing with the Seahawks. It's a 3-year, $100.5 million contract. There was quite a bit of other moves. There was Mac Jones signing with the 49ers today. A little bit more movement, but I mean, out of those major ones, which ones tickle your fancy as far as the quarterbacks?
I don't know about tickle my fancy, but I think it's hilarious that the two all right, guys, we have Anthony Richardson. He's not very good at throwing the ball, but he's really good athletically. All right, we need to have a backup. Let's get a guy who's not really good at throwing the ball, but pretty decent athletically. That's literally it's like, hey, you want a white Anthony Richardson? Here's Daniel Jones. Like, it's just. The only cool thing about it is the fact that he can put on a fedora and people can call him Indiana Jones since he plays for Indianapolis. That's the only good
maybe
thing
they're
about
trying to get a different demographic to come watch the games.
It's not gonna. If you don't put W's on the board, they're not going to come. It
Sure.
doesn't matter who's quarterback. But the signing of Sam Darnold, happy for him. But he now goes to an organization who has no receivers because Tyler Lockett got cut and DK Metcalf got traded. So
I mean, they got JSN. He's pretty significant, right? He's pretty good.
yeah, I watched him last year do a couple plays.
This feels like just the Oprah, like you get a move and you get a move and you get a move, and maybe they just wanted to like feel a little different, a different city, have a new life. You know, who knows?
It's just them moving on and really realizing just like, all right, we've got to refigure this out because Tyler Lockett, he's like twilight of his career. DK kind of wanted out anyway. And like I said, JSN, he's a solid. Hopefully he can make that next step because I thought he was going to make the next step last year and he was still hit and miss throughout that season. Now, granted, does it have something to do with Geno? I don't know how you can go from Geno to Sam Darnold. I don't think there's an upgrade with that. That's a lateral move. Yeah. So unless Sam Darnold somehow they just bring over the offensive coordinator from the Vikings, and have Justin Jefferson there. Yeah. I don't think JSN is Justin Jefferson level good. That's the problem. And I think they will still get some receivers in the draft, but it's going to be, money. They're going to moneyball the fuck out of that receiving core.
Yeah, they're going to have to. Because I mean, you talk about it's not really like an upgrade, more of a sideways move, but
no.
Oh, we lost him.
Got a little bit frozen. That's all right. Let it go.
Okay, we back.
Yeah, we're back.
You frozen a little bit of a smolder there.
Yeah. Fun. Anyways, with the cap hit as far as $100.5 million contract, Sam Darnold, I don't know. I don't know what they're really thinking because if you're kind of trading the farm and trying to free up cap space and get draft picks, you don't want to lock yourself into something that large. And honestly, he's probably going to do a decent job. So they just basically became the Steelers of the NFC, where they're going to have middling picks because they're going to go 8-8 and they're going to maybe get into a wild card, and then that's going to be it. They're going to do that for 3 years and not really get a strong draft unless they got some other moves up their sleeves. But I just don't think that was a great move. But DK Metcalf, I think he's going to like it because in that trade that they did with the Commanders as far as Seahawks, with the Steelers, he gets a big boost to their offense. So he's going to have maybe Russell Wilson if he sticks around. Who knows? I think they might be shopping him around.
I know they've been shopping. He's been looking around. I think he might end up being a Brown, and Aaron Rodgers is going to be with the Steelers.
Right. Which I don't like either of that. I don't like that for Russell if that does happen.
I don't give a shit about either one of those teams. Was not really crying about it over here.
Right? Yeah. But
that's just a weird sound in my mouth. Aaron Rodgers, Steelers. It's just weird.
Yeah, him and Tomlin are like tight. So
yeah,
that's the thing.
And Tomlin's great. I mean, he's a phenomenal coach. You think if you get DK, that's either to try to keep somebody or to get someone. So we'll see what ends up happening there in Pittsburgh. But the Commanders, though, who I mistakenly mentioned because I was actually pretty excited to talk about them, had a couple of major moves. Blockbuster trade deal with Laramie Tunsil, getting the star tackle from the Texans, and then Deebo Samuel trade. Commanders receive, one of the biggest bruiser of a wide receiver or any receiver, really. I mean, he's like, I think he can knock out a lot of tight ends, but the Niners get just kind of middling compensation as far as in the Samuel trade. But the Commanders, I mean, is this pushing them over the top to where they're actually going to be getting into the Super Bowl this year?
I know it sounds like a broken record, but as long as they stay healthy, because Deebo hasn't been healthy. Mm-hmm. And that's also goes to the usage of how the 49ers used him. I mean, he was doing everything up in the, the whole, he was in the backfield. He was running back. He was a receiver. He was throwing the ball. He was in the stand serving nachos. Like, Deebo was doing everything for the 49ers. And then also I mean, the 49ers are blowing their whole thing up, like blowing it up. I mean, they released Kyle Juszczyk, and they traded away a bunch of country guys go. Other guys signed other places. I didn't look at the whole thing, but there was like 12 players that moved on from the 49ers, either through trade, cut, or signed in free agency. So, but you're gonna get Brock Purdy signed. So congratulations whenever that drops. But I like what the Commanders are doing because they got they traded away a 5th round. I don't think you're going to get a Deebo Samuel in the 5th round. I don't care how banged up he is. Yeah. I don't think you're going to find a receiver in the 5th round that's going to meet what Deebo Samuel can do when healthy.
Yeah, and they could do. I mean, basically what a lot of teams are doing with their elder receivers, just storm for the fall, so you can pull them up in the winter. Travis Kelce didn't really get a whole lot done during the season, but he actually, kind of showed up a little bit in the playoffs. So
he was on tour.
I can see Deebo. He was on tour. But I can see Deebo kind of being in that role as well.
Yeah.
But just to talk about the Chiefs, shout out Nick Bolton getting his deal, 3 years, $45 million. Re-signing Hollywood Brown, giving him a second chance because he was injured all last year. And then my boy James Winchester of the Chalk Foundation. Long snapper getting a 1 year, $1.65 million deal. Any final shout outs before we move on? Because we are at 20 minutes with just NFL transactions.
Right. Yeah. Shout out to DeMarcus Lawrence has finally left. He's no longer a Cowboy, but that's okay. Okay about that. Rico Dowdle just signed somewhere else. But the big one that here's my hot take of the free agency of the signings that is kind of like happened, but I think Najee Harris I think he went to the Chargers.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah. Najee Harris going to the Chargers.
Yeah.
1 year
with
deal.
that Harbaugh running scheme and J.K. Dobbins, shout out to him, had a great year last year. 6th man of the year type of. Yeah, J.K. Brokens. But I think that running scheme, if it's going to happen for Najee Harris, it's going to happen this coming year with how much that Dale Roman running offense is and that scheme that they have, and plus with Herbert being able to still chuck the ball left and right, I think this is a really good move for Najee Harris.
Yeah, another big one was Devontae Adams going to the Rams.
Whatever, they'll let Cooper Kupp go for Devontae Adams. I don't get it.
Oh, dude. I mean, we'll see. Maybe he's still got a little bit left in the tank, but I do not. I am absolutely exhausted from all of this NFL news, man. I'm going to turn my notifications off. So please, I've been talking for far too long. What you got?
Hey, it's been a couple months, Tushka. We were having to get back on the bike. All right.
Right.
I mean, I'm just here for the ride in football. You guys are the ones with the knowledge. It's like when I talk about soccer. So it's just the reverse. So I just get to nod and ask stupid questions and then just give my thoughts on the way things look, knowing absolutely nothing at all. How the Dolphins do.
Yeah.
They're still a team.
Yeah, they're still a team. But hold on, sorry. Let me scroll down and grab them.
There wasn't any names that jumped out to me as far as the Dolphins.
Yeah, but they kept a lot of their defense. They retained Tyrell Dodson, 2 year, $25 million contract. Defense back Elijah Campbell, Quentin Bell. I think that's a major, maybe not a major component, but I think that's a good one that they really need to keep there. They did sign Nick Westbrook-Akine. If their QB can stay healthy, that's a solid pickup. If he doesn't stay healthy, speaking of Tua Tagovailoa, Zach Wilson will be stepping in after he gets a 1 year, $6 million contract. So, maybe not hide your kids, but definitely hide your wives and hide your moms because Zach Wilson's out here in Miami.
Had your mammies in Miami.
Yep. But that's all I got. Let's get out of here. See ya. Y'all take. Oh no, we still got a lot of the show. My bad. Sorry.
I think Josh, we're ready for.
Yeah. So. All right, I'm gonna run this through it real quick. Like I said, we spent about 25 minutes there. The Cavs are kind of doing some crazy history, but OKC and SGA, the debate of who do you get the it's like Lamar and Josh Allen all over again as far as the MVP goes for the NBA. It's SGA, but Jokic has better stats than he's ever had. I mean, the dude literally went 30, 20, and 20.
Yeah, he had a 30-20-20 game. It was crazy.
And it's like,
Insane.
all right, let's go to Joker for this historic moment. Yeah, I just like playing basketball. Okay, thanks, Joker. Like, he's so great. But SGA is playing out of his gourd. It's going to be that's between those two. But yeah, that's crazy. 30, 20, 20. Jesus.
I mean, Joker deserves it. I'm not saying that SGA doesn't deserve it. Both of them do. It's the same argument that we had with football. But Joker is having an even better year than any of the 3 times he won MVP. Like, he literally is playing lights out. He's never played better than he's played. And he already was a phenomenal player. So to me, like, if I were voting, I'd give it to Joker. But either or, I'm not going to be mad at it.
Yeah. See, Soul's take, insert Lamar Jackson, because that's literally what he did this past season. And he still didn't win it. So.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I was going to make.
Sorry?
Basically, the question. No, you're perfectly fine. I mean, because really it leads it to the question: is this really an award for who was the best that year, or is it going to be, hey, Joker, you've had it for a while. We're going to throw it to SGA this year, even deservingly, still. Yeah. But just like with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, I mean, Josh hasn't won it in the past. He is deserving of it, and got it this year probably just because Lamar had won previously. And maybe we'll see that with the NBA. I don't know. I don't know if they, as far as the
Barkley has an MVP when it should have been MJ.
Carmelo has an MVP when it should have been Michael.
I
guess who won the championship those 2 years? Not them.
Yeah. Not them.
Because he took it personally.
Prize. Yeah, it's like you get to win the Heisman or the national championship. You can't win both.
Yeah, but yeah, and then also Cleveland has won for the second time in the year. Have won 15 games in a row. I think there's only like 16 that's ever done that in the history of the NBA of going on 2 15-plus game winning streaks in the same season, which is insane. But now they're finally just when you thought the media was going to stop talking about the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron had to go get Stephen A. Smith. We're not going to talk about that right now. Tune in next week when more of this dust settles and we get more of them going back and forth.
Sure, dude. I was just about to get my tea and start sipping.
We'll give you the tea when it's finally brewed, because it's not even fully brewed yet, guys.
I love it. I love a long brewed tea.
Yeah,
a long brew, a little bit of honey.
Yes, we got to make it right. A little bit of lemon, to help the vocal cords. We're good there. But yeah, so that's what I've got for NBA. We're getting closer and closer to the playoffs. But speaking about playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Playoffs.
Yeah. Well, the March Madness is the conference tournaments are going on right now. It's the best time of the year. We're sleeping May, all that jazz. To kind of go over real quick the automatic bids for the mid majors. Unfortunately, Western lost last night, so they are not going to be playing in the NCAA tournament this year. Women
are better.
Yeah. So we've got out of the ASUN, Lipscomb punched their ticket. Big South, High Point, Coastal Athletic, UNC Wilmington. Look for them. Obviously, I'm tuning into our live show on Sunday. Myself and my buddy Jake. We're kind of going over, reacting to it, kind of telling you all some potential Cinderellas, but I like UNC Wilmington. Robert Morris out of the Horizon League. Drake out of Missouri Valley. They probably would have got in as a large bid. Drake is really, really good this year. Sitting at 30-3. Yeah. Northeast Conference has St. Francis, Ohio Valley, SIUE, which is Southern Illinois University East. Anyway, it's the first time they've ever made the tournament. Congratulations to you all. Patriot League, American, that's redundant. Southern, Walford, Southland, McNeese won for the second year in a row. As far as that coach, he was once the LSU coach, got fired for a bunch of illegal crap. That's now legal. Now. But Will Wade is his name. Look him, try his name to come up in the Indiana job. But he's basically went like 75-20 in the past 2 seasons. It's been nuts what he's been able to do down at McNeese. Summit, Omaha. That's not a Audible. That is an actual university that is going dancing. Sunbelt, Troy, and then the Western Coast Conference. Tell me if you've heard this name, Gonzaga. They have punched their tickets. Now, obviously, there's more teams that are still, as of right now, not everything has gone final. But that's where we're at there, the other conference tournaments. So let's see if some other teams that will not be punching their ticket can do it, because this is their last ditch effort to possibly get into the tournament when you weren't supposed to. So that does happen for that. But that's what I've got for NCAA. Like I said, tune in this Sunday. They'll be doing the live bracket show supposed to be on CBS at 6 o'clock Eastern. But guess what's going to happen? The Big Ten tournament's probably going to go late. It's not going to come on until like 6:45.
Mm-hmm. Right. And join our Discord down below so you can join us for Bracket Bitches and see how Josh, who knows everything, doesn't do well, and then people who know nothing at all winning the league.
The person who's watched all the ball since the opening tip back in late October, early November till now will have the worst bracket out of our whole pool. Because that's how it works, people. You spend so much time and you get nothing in return.
And I have a little thing on the women's side, and this was just a funny thing. South Carolina and Texas both were tied for first for the SEC tournament, so they literally had to do it on a coin flip. And South Carolina ended up getting the number 1 seed there. But that was one of those just like, okay, coin flip it. Which it's always funny to me when you have to go to something that with chance.
Right.
But
I mean that's happened before. The first number 1 overall pick in the NBA one time came down to a coin flip on who was going to get Patrick Ewing. That's how far ago. But the quote of all the NCAA and all the history is from a Virginia Tech player named Toby Lawal. And he says, I quote, after he played for Virginia Tech, and after they lost in their conference, he said, they thought we were going to be ass. I mean, we were still ass, but, we weren't that bad. Hang in the lube.
I love it.
Hang in the lube.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Wichita State. They were going to be hosting one of the rounds of the NCAA, the men's division, as far as the tournament. And I don't know. I just like shouting out them because they were kind of a tournament darling probably about 8 years ago or so. And that small town actually gets to host another one, the third in 8 years. So good job, Wichita State.
I don't know if the WKU women are going to make the NCAA tournament, but I want to shout them out anyways because I got to travel around the United States because of Pep Band because the women, unlike the men, made the tournament.
Yeah. That's right. Women get it done.
Yeah, WKU, go Tops. I mean, we wouldn't win a game, but when we made the tournament, but I still got to travel.
The only women's NCAA tournament game I went to was at Diddle because the Lady Vols were there when Pat Summitt was still coaching. I was like, I got to go, guys. I don't care. I got to go. And I swear to you, there was an aura around her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's the GOAT for sure.
Oh, yeah. Freaking Pat Summitt.
Women are also getting it done elsewhere, right, Soul?
Mm-hmm. We got Unrivaled and we got playoffs.
Playoffs? Hold on. I actually have the clip lined up somewhere. Nope, I lost it.
But right here, this is the playoffs are set. We have the number 1 seed versus the number 4 seed Vinyl, and then we have the number 2 seed Rose versus the number 3 seed Laces. So Josh's Vinyl make the tournament. And they're going against a team that has only lost 1 game in the regular seasons. Josh, do you think your girls can have the biggest upset
in unrivaled history? You're right. Yeah. There's no argument with that.
Can they do it? Can they do it?
Dude. Do they? Who else can beat the Lunar Owls right now other than the Vinyl? I think they have the best
Rose.
shot.
The Rose are the
Laces.
only ones who have beaten them. And then we got Tushka and Mine Laces. They're going against the Rose. The Laces and the Rose split their regular season game 1 apiece. So the Laces won the first one. The Roses won the second one. The Roses are a little bit on a hot streak right now, but I'm going to continue backing my girls. Tushka, you think we can make it to the finals?
Yeah, we're in the finals. Well, at least we're like semifinals. But any given Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whenever they play. Any given day.
It ends with
March 16th and 17th.
Yeah, and the rank number 3, which isn't the worst, out of these four which somebody else's team is. So yeah,
as long
we
as
can do it.
hey, if you can defend and keep making Angel Reese throw the ball off her own backboard when she's trying to inbound it, I think you have a shot. That was hilarious.
But Angel Reese and Chelsea Gray together, they're dangerous, and they've been on a winning streak because the two of them have gotten real hot. So that's gonna be a fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm here. Jackie's healthy again. I'm gonna back my girls. Let's go Laces.
Final. Hey, let's. I was gonna have a vinyl pun, but I had
Let's
nothing.
spin it.
Yeah, there you go. We're gonna shock the world. Record
Just
scratch.
drop that needle.
Era. Well, that's what I got for Unrivaled.
I like it.
Well, Saul, ready to kick?
Yeah, and scream. So we're gonna talk about MLS and NWSL today. So the MLS, New York Red Bulls, Josh's New York Red Bulls, they tie Atlanta United, so they didn't lose.
I need more points than that.
I know, but you got a point.
I know. I'll take what I can get, but I'd like to get the dub.
I know. Unfortunately for Tushka, DC United beat Sporting KC 2-1. Sporting KC haven't won a game yet. How you feeling, Tushka?
Hey, it's not going to happen this year. So let's just stop talking about it.
There's only been 3 games. You're already giving up.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Did you see the jerseys?
True.
Yeah.
And then
he is frozen in a great picture, by the way. That's a great.
And then I said I'm gonna continue talking about them until they lose a game. San Diego FC, in their inaugural year, they still haven't lost a game yet. They beat Real Salt Lake 3-1. So congratulations to them.
They're on their Vegas Knights kick about being the new team in the league and just running roughshod.
And then we got Inter Miami. We beat Charlotte FC 1-0, and we also got another red card. We're red card united this year. Oscar Ostadi, Inter Miami's new goalkeeper, he got a red card in the 38th minute. It was deserved. I have no complaints.
I was getting ready to say,
no complaints.
Okay.
On this one. But Inter Miami fans thought that we were going to roll with Drake Callender again as our number 1, and then kind of have like someone who Oscar Ostadi, he's a little bit older, he's experienced, but he's still a good goalkeeper, having him as our number 2. Unfortunately, Callender, he got hurt at the U.S. men's national team camp, and so Ustadi has been starting for us. But then in our first leg game against Cavalier FC in Champions Cup, Callender was sitting on the bench, and kind of getting the feeling that Ustadi is going to be our number 1, and Callender, he's too good to be on the bench, so he's probably going to get traded, which is sad because he's the last player that still exists since our first year in 2020. He's the last one.
He's your UD, basically, is what
he's our UD right now. So he was deemed healthy enough for Cavalier FC, but in this game, it was reported that he took himself out of the roster. So there's questions there. Is he still injured and he just didn't feel ready to come back? Is he trying to get a move? We don't know. But this would have been a really good chance to try to get his spot back because Ustadi got a red, and so we ended up this real youngin. Let me get his name because I didn't know he existed until that day.
Lionel Messi? The youngin?
Rocco Rios Novo. He came in for the rest of the match, and I'm going to give him his props. He did a good job. He's kept his clean sheet. But since Ustadi is on a red, that means he doesn't play the next game. So it'll be interesting to see if Callender comes back or not. We're going to see. There might be a little maneuvering there, and I don't know how I feel about it because he's our last one. But Tadeo Allende, he scored in the 46th minute, like literally right out of the gate. I was looking down at my phone and I looked up and he scored the goal.
Nice.
Literally, that's because during halftime I was looking at my phone and luckily, like I looked up because if I didn't look up, I would have missed the goal, the one and only goal. Literally, whistle blew. He had some great link up play with Luis Suarez. We got the goal, and we can be a man down and still win. So, but yeah, let's see if we continue getting red cards this year.
It's gonna be some kind of a record.
Maybe.
Everyone loves a red card.
Everyone loves a red card. On the NWSL side, this past weekend before the season started, the NWSL had their Challenge Cup. The Challenge Cup is usually the Shield winners versus the NWSL winners out of the playoffs of the previous year. Since Orlando won both the Shield and the NWSL Cup, they just ran back the finals from last year. So it was Orlando versus Washington Spirit. They ended up tying the game 1-1. But with goals from Rafaeli Souza for Orlando and Lacey Santos for Washington. But the Washington Spirit won on penalties and start their year off with a trophy. So Trinity Rodman got a medal.
Well, yeah. She wakes up and just has a medal on her. They just placed around her neck.
And NWSL starts Friday with the match.
Wakes up for greatness, Tushka.
Being Orlando Pride versus the Chicago Stars. And Houston Dash versus Washington Spirit. So who do you guys think is going to win in those games? That's Friday.
Dude, was there really a question? It's going to be, we got Spirit. We got Trinity.
But the other game.
Well, Kushka's player decided to start a family like a selfish person that she is.
She's not, her team is not playing on Friday either.
I don't care. I haven't seen Tushka since the announcement. So I wanted to at least let them know that, your player's too selfish. She decided to start a family and not help her team out. So Trinity Rodman, she's all about the team, not about starting a family, the next generation of awesomeness. Yeah, no, sure. There's a way to do things. Yeah. Congratulations to her.
Although the athleticism,
we're all jealous that they get to have a family and have kids. Doesn't mean that you just got to come in here and just shit on it. I mean, it's great that Trinity Rodman gets a participation trophy for waking up, apparently. Is that the medal she gets when she wakes up? It's like, hey, good job.
Yeah, because every day's a gift.
Yeah. Regardless, Sophia Wilson now, that child is going to be athletic as hell.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Wilson, too. Yeah. But yeah, so... I don't know.
That kid will get a medal coming out the womb.
Orlando Pride. I'd probably take Orlando Pride over Chicago.
Right, I think it's going to be Pride and Spirit again. Yeah,
they're the Pride and Dash. Pride and Dash.
Going Dash. Okay.
On Dasher or on Dancer?
Well, yeah, he's not going to pick the Spirit.
But that's what I got for soccer. You read Talk Hockey? We got a lot of hockey news.
Shit went down, ladies and gentlemen.
Some shit went down. Before we go down to that big ass trade, hey Josh, the Preds won all 3 of their games last week against the Kraken, Blackhawks, and Sharks. How you feeling about your Preds?
We're old, dude. We are so old. During the trade deadline, we traded away our young guy for more older guys. We're just like, fuck it. We're just gonna be the old folks' home of hockey players, and that's okay with me. Win 3 straight in a row. File their taxes. AARP. We're all about it.
I like it. Panthers beat the Blue Jackets and Sabres, but lose to the Bruins this past week, which was probably personal for them because we have their captain now. Mm-hmm. We're the captain now. Yeah. Brad Marchand, Stanley Cup winner, recent Four Nations winner with Canada, captain of the Boston Bruins, now plays for the Florida Panthers. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Not for Bostonians, who are pissed about this trade. Not for NHL fans who are in shock. I was saying a little bit earlier, this is not the Luka to the Lakers trade. But it's the closest comparison I can give in like the NHL world or the trade kind of world. Like he is an older player. He's 36, I believe. He's been with the Boston Bruins. He was drafted by them in 2006, but officially was in the NHL in 2009 on played his whole career in Boston, and he's one of those players that is like a marquee player for them, and this is a huge trade. But let's look at some pundits right here and their reaction to this trade.
I don't know why I didn't bring it up. Here we go.
Last minute possibility. We're hearing that Brad Marchand could become a Florida Panther.
Holy. I said get out of the East, Brad! I said get out of the East!
So he and Sam Bennett rectified their differences at Four Nations, and now potentially they can be teammates.
I don't know. I don't know how this is going to look. He's out for a little bit of time, but I'm starting to get people telling me that they're hearing that Brad Marchand could be traded to Florida.
Wow. Okay. We have the Woj bombs. That's a Fried firecracker plus.
Last minute possibility. We're hearing that Brad Marchand could become.
So that is from the pundits, but we got a hockey fan just to give that side, show her reaction here.
Because what do you mean that Brad Marchand just got traded to the Florida Panthers? What do you mean you're trading your captain who has been a lifelong Bruin? Look, it is a well-known thing that I was rooting for the Panthers last year, and it was very exciting that they won the Stanley Cup for the first time. I even had a whole deep sentimental thing about it. But I have a very big soft spot in my heart for the Bruins. And what do you mean you're trading Marshy? This brings up a couple big questions that have yet to be answered. First off, who the hell did the Bruins get in return? Because it better not be a what. If I see that the Bruins traded Marshy for the, 5th round draft pick in 2056, I'm gonna scream. And this also makes me wonder, are we putting Marshy there for, the rest of the season just to help them win another Stanley? Because say what you want about Brad Marchand, people hate him until he's on their team. Side note, I've heard outside of hockey, as a human, he is like a delight. But I am genuinely trying to understand the rationale here. And really, the only one I'll accept is we're sending him over to give him a chance at the Cup. And then we're taking him right back because he's a Bruin. I'm not even playing this up, guys. Genuinely, when I saw this, I screamed. I flat out screamed, scared the crap out of my cats, and screamed in my own home. I need a lot of answers, and I need them now. Say.
So this is big. This is big. A few things here. He was 24 points away from reaching his 1,000th career point with the Bruins before being traded. He was traded for a 2027 second round draft pick. So not even a first round draft pick. And Bruins have 50% retention of his salary, reported by Pierre Lebrun. His AAV, average annual value this year, is $6.125 million. His actual cash this season was $4 million, and $3 million of that was paid already in signing bonus, which left $1 million in salary this year. With 50% retention by Bruins, Panthers in reality might be only paying Marchand about $125,000 for the rest of the season in real money. That is a lot of money for us. That is nothing for the Panther organization.
I think you're burying the lead that this person's name is Pierre.
Yeah.
LeBron. When he was born, they were like, what are you going to name? We don't have a name of Pierre. What's he going to
Pierre
do?
Lebrun.
The only thing you could do with that name would just cover hockey.
Yes.
That's such a hockey name.
And we got some more hockey fans and their thoughts on this trade. Let's go to it, Tishka.
Brad just processing this in Panthers gear. And I'm not even chirping the Panthers, I just mean in any other gear.
Yeah.
Just processing how proud he was to have done what he did in that black and gold sweater. I was like, this is not happening. I cannot believe this.
Yeah.
And then to compound that with the reports that were like, listen, Brad and the team had a face-to-face discussion. They were offering 2, Brad wanted 3. The team got to 3 and there was still a money gap. And then Brad said, let's have a face-to-face fucking meeting and get this done. I'm willing to compromise. And the Bees just go, no. And now you're gone Florida. Is appalling to me.
It's disgusting. I think the fact that he wants to stay, and we have reports of a 3-year, $6.3 million offer from the Bruins, that Brad was like, that's far off the mark. Elliot Friedman reported there was a big gap. If we talk about that big gap, like what could that possibly be? Like, was he asking for 7.5? You know, like even if he is, I'm like, it's like a bit over $1 million than what your cap is currently. Like for him, yeah, I get it. The fact that he asked for a sit-down face-to-face meeting with Don Sweeney and Cam Neely, got it, and just said, I'm willing to budge. I'm asking you to be willing to budge too. And they said, fuck you. That is insane to me. Ultimately, Chris, everyone goes, well, if you weren't going to give him that contract, you got to get something for him. When it's a conditional second-round pick that at best is going to be, if he plays 50% into 2 rounds, like it's going to be,
It's a bad pick.
Yeah, what, 26 or something, you know, something like that. Take it. I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want it. Like, I'd rather you go not fucking trade him like this. You couldn't get something done, dude. This guy so desperately is like, I don't want to go. During the trade deadline, trade deadline day, he's like, he was not with the team. He's in Boston. He's like, give me a sit down meeting.
Yeah.
And they're even after that, they're like, nope, can't get anything done.
This is the type of guy that, as a fan, I'm speaking as a fan here, you just pay and get rinsed on this contract in 3 years because whatever. This is the type of player you just do that for. And I know we kind of just didn't say that last week, and I know that's bad business and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, dude, you can't do that to him.
I agree.
You have to just pay him and shut the fuck up.
I look at guys like Bergeron and Tuukka Rask doing those streams, you know, like guys who just played their whole career, just retired bees. Like, just Brad belongs there.
Something about Brad just processing this
Yeah.
in Panthers gear. And
Thoughts on that, guys?
I just always like they call it, he's like, he retired bees. He retired as a bitch? Like, what are you talking about? No. It's not a Luka trade. It is as far as the reaction of the hockey media, it's that level. But as far as the actual, like, the fact that in the what they got for him in return of Brad Marchand, and you're giving him to the defending. Now that being said,
You're giving your captain,
my captain to. I just want to see like Matt. I just want to see Mac and Chuck being like, just like walks into the locker room and they just start swinging because they're still not over the Four Nations. But it's just, this is insane. But this is more of the equivalent of when the Indianapolis Colts moved off of Peyton Manning when he still had some left in the tank. I think it's more of that as far as where Marchand is in his career. Again, not going to put myself as a puck knower until the Hurricanes win it this year. Then I will be a puck knower. But this is what kind of comes down as that. But now, Florida, you have no excuse not to repeat.
Yeah, I know. And I was because hockey is fickle. And I was like, I don't think we're going to repeat. And then the second I heard this news, I was like, we're going to fucking repeat.
You're going to repeat.
We're going to fucking repeat. I'm so here for it. Tushka, not knowing as much about NHL, like this is the sport we least know, the three of us. But kind of just hearing that he didn't want to leave. He was willing to compromise, asking for meetings. He was there in Boston on like the trade deadline day, like, please, I want to stay. Hearing about like Boston barely getting anything for him, trading him away. Your thoughts on this whole thing?
Nice way of telling someone, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much. Ochocinco said it the best. No, I'm the foremost expert in hockey. That's how you pronounce it, right? Hockey.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's business. It's all about money.
Yep.
I mean, you would like to think that there's a certain level of mutual respect or even just appreciation for someone who's done so much for their team. But yeah, whenever you say, hey, I'm going to budge, and they say, yeah, no, we're good. We're shipping you out. It just makes that revenge game that much sweeter. Those tickets have got to be already like sold out as far as
right.
the Bruins and the Panthers. And I'm not sure how many times they play during the regular season, but it'll definitely be a must watch as far as those revenge games. Yeah. But yeah, you would want to play for an organization that at least gives you the opportunity to
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, froze again.
Some other teams.
No, you're good. You're good. Keep going.
Okay. I mean, some teams don't really do that. Fortunately for like some, they did, and in this case, and I mean they did with Myles Garrett, and they ended up throwing him a whole money bag. But unfortunately, yeah, for Brad Marchand, it wasn't that. It wasn't that case. They basically said, "Hey, good to see you. Fuck off."
And the thing is, for the Bruins fans that I've seen around online, we'll get to one of my favorite clips here in a second. The Florida Panthers own the Bruins right now. Like they're the thorn in Bruins fan side because when
we're rivals now.
Yeah. So because for the history lesson review, all 2 years ago, the Bruins had the best record of all time in the regular season of any hockey team ever. And you know what happened? They lost in the first round to the Florida Panthers.
Mm-hmm. And going as both a Florida Panther and Miami Heat fan, and that the Bruins and the Celtics both play in TD Garden. Yeah. And the Miami Heat and the Bruins beat Miami Heat and the Panthers beat them in the same place to go on to the next level of the playoffs. All the memes of who owns the TD Garden, you have the Miami Heat logo and the Florida Panthers logo there. It was glorious time to be a South Florida fan. Even we made it to the finals, even though sadly we did not win that year. Yeah, on either side. But it is the way it goes. But yeah, Florida Panthers, if you go back, Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers were not rivals at all. But then when Florida started getting better, it became a rivalry between these two cities. And then when we started actually beating them in the playoffs, even though they had better players than us, that's when it really became butting heads.
Yep.
And when that reporter said that Sam Bennett and Brad Marchand made up at the Four Nations, they meant that because they went at each other as a Bruin and a Panther, but they're both Canadian and they had to play together in Four Nations. So yeah, this is a crazy, crazy trade.
Yep. And you want to check in with our Florida with our Bruins?
Yeah, Josh has a Bruins fan here. Let's watch that.
Yeah, this is Dan Granelli from Spit and Chicklets podcast, and this was his reaction. Oh no. Not that one.
I'm clicking down the stage. It's not doing it. So.
There it is.
Friedman, Marchand to Florida possibility. Oh my God.
That's the Bruins fan. That's Dan Granelli.
Florida? Florida of all teams? Fucking Florida?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Did I not say Florida earlier? I said he's going to go to Florida. He's going to sign on a cheap deal.
Fuck! Remember we were talking at Four Nations wow, Marchand's on a line with Bennett. This is just working out perfect for them. It's pretty incredible that you get lucky. You get lucky that your best player gets hurt. It's not lucky because he's hurt, but you also are your team's
back to the elbow room.
Someone's going through it.
Get the warm tequila shots ready, G.
Florida? Are you kidding? Of all teams, the Florida Panthers. I said two teams.
Yeah. So the Bruins fans are going through
it. They're going through it. Yeah, Bruins fans, Mavs fans, the Cowboys fans.
We've been going through it for 20 years. It's fine. Oh, wait, hold on.
Sea fans.
Wait, we've been going through it since before Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels were conceived. We've been going through it. So
Yeah.
But I got 3 Super Bowls and I remember them.
So for the rest of the hockey world, this was crazy or bad news. For me as a Florida Panther fan, I'm fucking stoked. I now feel the way the Lakers fans felt when they got Luka. Just yeah, let's go. But I was gonna say, to go on to happier news for other NHL fans, Capitals versus Kraken. They had a little bit of a Royal Rumble. Everyone got put into the penalty box. Let's look at this. So there's 5 players each. Let's go to the video.
Is there anybody on the ice right now?
Zamboni.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hit that next and for the video.
Ready for the video then?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Brandon Duham getting involved as always and takes exception to everything on this one. And this game has added a lot of emotion all of a sudden. And Tom Wilson out there just hurling and throwing bodies all over the ice.
He and Mahura aren't finished yet. Hayden's in there too. Tough go for the line, keeping everybody apart. John Carlson in a headlock with Montour. Still not finished.
Wilson loves this when guys get behind the referees and act like they want to fight, and then he ends up having a shame into actually dropping their gloves out in open ice. Tom goes to the box.
Dubois, Carlson, Van Riemsdyk, Duham, all in the box with minors.
I love it. I wish it was all for
Dubois, Carlson, Van.
It's funny. It's hilarious.
Did he just say in the box with minors? That could be taken way out of context.
Yeah. It was a Drake.
Yeah.
But yeah. Have you ever seen that before? It's everyone in the box.
No, I've seen it to where
timeout.
there were so many fights to where they just suspended the game. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
But I've never seen an actual like 5v5 penalty box.
Yeah.
I mean, the Kraken, they just got the better penalty box. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they got the home penalty box, maybe.
Because they're all like able to sit comfortably. Almost looks like they got like freaking like some lattes or something, and then the other guys are like just packed in a freaking phone booth.
They practiced.
Yeah.
They practice seating arrangement.
Yeah, they practice seating arrangement in a penalty box. Hey, can we fit 5 in here? Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah. Let's try
That's my attempt at a northern accent, which I cannot do.
You just had to say A.
Hey,
Yeah, I mean that's more like Canada.
yeah,
Midwest,
got the boys in the box.
But going to our current leaders here in the Atlantic, we got my Florida Panthers. Metropolitan, you got the Washington Capitals. Central, the Winnipeg Jets. And then Pacific, the Vegas Golden Knights. So, Josh, any other thoughts on the leaderboard and NHL in general?
You know, I thought I knew puck, and everything was kind of looking good for the Hurricanes to do it, and then fucking the Bees had to trade Marchand to the Florida Panthers, and I'm like, oh, that's an uphill climb for the Hurricanes, but anything can happen. Playoff hockey is pretty fun.
Yep.
But
But that's
too far behind Winnipeg Jets. They're gonna do it, guys. They're gonna do it.
The gosh damn Jets.
Jets.
Yep. No, they're gonna do it. But yeah, everybody else. I mean, the Maple Leafs, they're in the Atlantic Division. I mean, that's a pretty tight race between the Panthers, Maple Leafs, and even throwing the Lightning in that mix.
Yeah.
Still some good puck, baby.
Oh, we got a lot of puck left.
A lot of puck left. But that is what I have for hockey. We are going to have a little bit of hockey in our moment of zen. But first off, Josh, where can the people find us?
They can find us tomorrow, at least myself and my buddy Justin Toner are going to be breaking down the world that is in wrestling, which is still pretty crazy right now. After that, because all the John Cena, The Rock, AEW, stuff like that is still going on. So you can join us tomorrow as we break down everything that is, was, and will be in the world of professional wrestling tomorrow at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. And then following that on Sunday, like I talked about before, you'll have myself and my buddy Jake doing a live reaction to get you all ready to have perfect brackets, which has never been done before. But once you watch our show, you should be able to do it. That's my tease on that one. And then coming around in April, myself, we kind of speaking about a tease. We kind of gave you a little bit of tease about the NFL. Coming in April, coming around in April will be the NFL draft. Myself and Tushka will be breaking down all of that to get you ready on the impact that the draft will have on your fantasy teams. Come around August. So there, and then obviously on Wednesdays. We got us wrapping up the world that is in sports. We're going to try and touch on, hopefully, at that point, unless something else crazy can happen, which it can. We'll probably be touching on a little bit more of the whole LeBron James versus Stephen A. Smith craziness that's going on there. And that's all I got.
And join us in the Discord down below. This month's book club pick, Dungeon Crawler Carl. So you want to be there for this. Look at this cover.
That's such a good cover.
It's a good cover. Good cover.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your ebook. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's interesting. Never seen a backlit book.
Yeah.
It's a Kindle.
But you guys ready for a reminiscence?
Let's do it.
We need it.
Can I just see the colors?
Just seeing how good of an artist we are.
Obviously blue. Why am I not seeing a blue? Okay.
I don't know what's going on here in my drawing.
It more looks like a rat. Oh no! Oh!
I literally don't know what's going on here.
30 seconds later. I am sorry. That's my attempt.
Like it.
Shout out to the left-hand drawer, by the way. Shout out to the left-hand drawer.
Thank you guys. We'll see you guys next week.